Today we're going to be looking at slope-intercept form. So our goals are to write and graph linear equations in slope-intercept form and to model real-world data with equations in slope-intercept form. So first of all, slope-intercept form of a linear equation is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So if you look at our example, notice how this looks exactly like above. It's y equals 2x plus 6. Well, in slope-intercept form, right, the m goes in front of the x. The b is the number that doesn't have a variable with it. So in this case, the 2 is our slope, or our m. The 6 is our b. So let's look at an example. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form for each line given the slope and the y-intercept. So it's telling us the m is 5, that's the slope, and the b is -4. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So in this case, right, I'm going to replace the m with 5. I'm going to replace the b with -4. So I'm going to write y equals 5x. Now I could do plus -4, but a lot of times instead of writing plus and negative, we use a minus sign. There's my equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So if I look at b, this one, my slope is 2/3, right? M equals 2/3, and my y-intercept is 5. So again, I'm just filling in the m and the b. So my equation is y equals 2/3 x plus 5. And that's my equation in slope-intercept form. So example 2. Here, it's giving us equations in slope-intercept form, and then it's asking us to graph the line. We've already figured out slope from a graph, right? Rise over run. So what we need to do today is actually graph it from the equation. So if I look at A, I know my slope is -3, so my m is -3, and my y-intercept is +4. Now, I know you guys, a lot of you have graphed before, but when we do slope, we look at rise over run. So every time you have a whole number, you put that whole number over 1, so you have a fraction. Because remember, it's rise over run. So the rise, right, is what you go up and down. The run is what you go side to side. Now, when we're graphing, you always start with the y-intercept. So maybe write that. Start with y-intercept. Okay, so my y-intercept is 4 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a point at 4 on the y-axis. So there's my point. Then what you do, after you start with the y-intercept, then you use the slope for rise over run. So in this case, right, my rise is -3, my run is +1. Rising -3 actually means you're going down, right? And running a +1 means you're going to the right, because that's where the numbers get bigger. So from where I started with the y-intercept, I go down 3 first, 1, 2, 3, and then I go to the right 1. Once I make that process, then I make another point. You want to do this again. I can go down 1, 2, 3, and over 1 to the right. I go down 1, 2, 3, over 1 to the right. Once you have, a good amount of points, then you're going to connect those points to make a line. So there is my line. So let's look at B. For B, my M, or slope, is 2/3, 2 over 3. My y-intercept, now be careful, it's 2/3 x minus 1, so my y-intercept is -1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow my rules. I'm going to start with the y-intercept. So my y-intercept is -1, so on the y-axis, I make a point at -1. Then I use my slope. It's 2 over 3. So I rise 2, I run 3. Since my rise is positive, right, I'm going up. Since my run is positive, I'm going to the right. So from here, I'm going up 2 and then over 3 to the right, and that's where my next point goes. I go up 2, over 3 to the right. That's where my next point goes. Now, if you run out of room and you haven't had enough points, 2 positives when you divide make a positive. Well, 2 negatives when you divide also make a positive. So instead of going up 2 and over 3 to the right, I could also, to keep the pattern going, go down 2 and over 3 to the left. And I can make a point right there. So I can continue the pattern, go down 2, over 3 to the left. Notice it keeps that line, it keeps that pattern, so I know I did it correctly. So now I'm going to connect the points, and I have my line. So let's look at C. Now C looks a little different because there's no plus or minus. That's okay. Remember, when something's not there, right, that means that maybe it was a 0. So this is the same thing as saying 4x, or -4x, sorry, plus 0. So in this case, my M is -4, my B is 0. Now again, the M is the slope, and slope, when we're graphing, we will always want it in fraction form, so I'm going to put this over 1, and my y-intercept is 0. I start with the y-intercept, so I start here. 0 on the y-axis is right in the middle. And then since my rise is -4, I'm going down 4. Since my run is +1, I'm going to the right 1. So from here, I'm going down 4, over 1 to the right. Down 4, oh, I've run out of room, so I have to go up here. Go up 4, and over 1 to the left. So you do the exact opposite, and it'll continue the pattern. Now, I'm running out of room. I can't do anything else, so 3 dots will have to do, or 3 points. So now, I'm going to connect them to make my line. One more. For this one, I don't see a number in front of the x. That doesn't mean that you don't have a slope, right? Whenever that number is not there, it means it's a 1, because we don't have to write that. So, for this one, my slope is -1. My y-intercept is +2. So again, since it's a whole number, right, I'm going to put my slope over 1. And what this is saying, my rise is -1, so I'm going to go down 1. My run is +1, so I'm going to go to the right 1. So I start with the y-intercept on the y-axis. I make a point at 2, and then I'm going down 1 and to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1. down 1 to the right 1. I can keep going that way. I could also instead go up 1 and to the left 1, up and to the left. That follows my pattern. So again, then I connect the dots or the points to make my line. And there you go. All right, so let's look at the next example. This one, it's the same idea, but look, it's not in slope-intercept form. These are actually basically in standard form besides this negative here. So for these, if I'm going to graph, they want me to rewrite and put it into slope-intercept form and then graph the line. When they ask you to put something in slope-intercept form, they want it to be y equals. So if I look at example A, the x and y are on the same side. So I need to move the x to the right. So it's a positive 3x. So I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. So when I do that, I have 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. Now notice I put the negative 3 in front of the 6 because slope-intercept form, right, is mx plus b. The x goes before the constant. Now the y still isn't alone. It has a 2 there. So I need to divide by 2. Now remember, every term gets divided. So not only the y, but the 3x and the 6. So when I do that, the 2's cancel out. So I'm left with y equals, now negative 3 divided by 2 is just negative 3 halves. It doesn't come out nicely, but we want to leave it as a fraction. And 6 divided by 2 is 3, so plus 3. So now I've got my equation. I know that my slope, right, is negative 3 over 2. My y-intercept is positive 3. Now it's just like the problems I just did. I start with the y-intercept, so I'm going to the y-axis and making a point at 3. My slope is negative 3 halves. It means I'm going down 3 and to the right 2. So count down 3, 1, 2, 3. Go to the right 2. Count down 1, 2, 3. Go to the right 2. Go down 1, 2, 3. Go to the right 2. I could also go up 1, 2, 3 and to the left 2. So once I have enough points to make sure I did my line correctly, I go ahead and I connect it to form my line. So B is the same idea. So if I look at B, right, I need to get the y by itself. There's a negative 2x on the same side, so I need to add 2x. So I add 2x to both sides. When I do that, right, I get 5y equals 2x plus 10. So again, I put that 2x in front because slope-intercept form, the x goes in front. Then, to get the y by itself, right, I need to divide by 5. Every term gets divided. So when I do that, 5 divided by 5 cancels, so I'm left with y equals. 2 divided by 5 doesn't go in evenly, so it's just 2/5. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. So I have y equals 2/5 x plus 2. So my slope is 2 over 5. My y-intercept is 2. So I go to my graph, the y-intercept, I go on the y-axis and I make a point at 2. And then my slope is 2 over 5. So I go up 2 and to the right 5. So I count up 2 and over 5. Now I don't have any space to go over anymore, so I'm going to go back to the beginning and go down 2 and over 5 to the left. So I can only make 3 points, that's okay. I'm going to connect those to make my line. That was a bad line, but you get the idea. All right. We can also, if you need to see that, there's one more time. You could also pause this video anytime you need to. We can also write an equation in slope-intercept form from a graph. So if I look at example A, what I need to do is I need to find where it crosses the y-axis and what my slope is, so rise over run. So I think it's easiest to look at the y-intercept first, and I can tell that A crosses the y-axis right here. That's at 1, 2, 3, 4. So my y-intercept is 4. Now I need to figure out the slope. So remember, we picked 2 pretty points. So the y-intercept is a pretty point. This is a pretty point right here. I'm going to count rise over run. So to get from this point to this point, I have to go up 1, 2, 3. So that's a positive 3. And I have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I went to the left, so that's negative 5 because that's your x values are getting smaller. So remember, it's rise over run. So my slope is 3 over negative 5. Now, there's one negative sign. It doesn't matter if you put it with the negative 5 or the 3. So I'm just going to type it negative 3 over 5. So same thing, one negative sign. So now if I'm going to write it in slope-intercept form, it's y equals negative 3/5 x plus 4. And there's my answer. So look at B, same idea. My y-intercept, oh look, it's at negative 4. Now look at the scale, these are going up by 2's. So I know my y-intercept is negative 4. I picked 2 pretty points, there's one right here, and I'm doing rise over run. So I'm technically going up 1, it's a positive 1, and over 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a positive 4, but one space on here is actually worth 2, right? Because we're going up by 2's. So this is a 2. One space over here is also going up by 2's. So I've gone 2, 4, 6, 8 spaces. So this is an 8. So my slope is 2 over 8. Now 2 over 8 actually simplifies to 1/4. If you can simplify your fraction, you always should. So my y-intercept, I said, was negative 4. And my slope, once we simplify it, it's not 2 over 8, it's 1 over 4. So my equation is y equals 1/4 x minus 4. So last one. So here, right, my y-intercept is 1, 2, 3. And it's in the negative, right? It's below the origin. So my y-intercept is negative 3. Here's a pretty point, and the y-intercept's a pretty point, so I'm going to do rise over run. I have to go up 1, 2, 3. So my rise is positive 3. From here I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So since it's going to the right, it's a positive 6. So it's always rise over run. Well, 3 over 6 I know simplifies to 1/2. So for this example, my y-intercept, right, was negative 3. And that's where it crossed the y-axis. My slope is 1/2. So my equation is y equals 1/2 x minus 3. And that's how you write the equation from a graph. Now the next examples we're going to do in class together on Monday. So you are done. All right, have a wonderful weekend. I will see you guys on Monday.